Hi everyone, it's Jacqueline from Creating My Garden, and today I am doing a little bit of maintenance, and a lot of container maintenance is going to be one of my focuses. So as you can see here, I noticed that my Super Bell's Dreamsicle was not doing well in the pot. So I've already came out here, I just couldn't resist myself, and I had to cut it back. And you can see there was a lot of dead inside, even though there was like a lot of flowers on the outside of the Dreamsicle. You can see them in here. I've got them in the bin. I cut them back and they weren't doing good at all. So I cut them back, and I'm really hoping that they are gonna shoot back up and rebloom. So I'm gonna give it a chance and see. The other thing I cut back was the Elysium. It wasn't doing good. And I've been also pruning off some of the dead on the geranium, some of the leaves, just to make it look nicer. So if this Dreamsicle Super Bell doesn't bounce back, I am going to go and put this Supertunia honey in the basket and make a change to it. But I'm going to give it a chance. I just want to see if it will bounce back. But if it does, I'm going to put this color in there. I think that combo with the orange geranium would be quite sharp looking. So that is one thing I'm going to do. So we'll see how it goes. So I think this video is mostly going to be on container maintenance. Just the way it's working out. So I want to go across over here to one of my other containers, and you can see how it's doing. It looks really good, you know. The pineapple mint has really taken control. It smells great though, you guys. Like, I was glad I put this in here, and it's been blooming, and the blooms are really quite insignificant. You can see little red flowers. It's so hard to tell, but they're very, very tiny on my hand there. But it's full of blooms, and you touch it and your whole hand smells like pineapple mint. It's kind of cool. But I'm just going to go through here, and I'm looking at my geraniums here, and this was an experiment to see how the orange would look with these colors, and it was okay. So I'm just going to go through. And with these being rail planters, sometimes you miss stuff. So there's a geranium I missed, you know, so stuff like that. So I'm taking that off, and sadly, I'm going to be cruel. You can see these heads are losing flowers. There you go. So I'm going to go back deep into the plant here and try to pick that off without having to get my pruners out. See, so you got to be brutal sometimes to give the plant life. There's another one gone. So we'll leave these new ones sprout. This one's gone too. It's you know, when they start looking shabby like this and start missing flowers, might as well clean them out. And then I just go through and pick back some of the petunias. I also am gonna deadhead in this geranium. There's another one in there. Right down. So I pick them as far down as I can on the stem so that it can regenerate and send up new shoots. I can also go and take this Supertunia bubblegum, and I can cut it back too, but it seems to be doing okay. So I'm going to leave it for now. I have been deadheading. As I go through, you'll see I'm deadheading at the same time. Technically, all these light purple petunias could be deadheaded off. That's the color they fade to as they're ending their bloom cycle. So you can pick them off, come through, pick them back. They look like pretty good, but you don't want this stuff happening right here. When this happens with the petunia, it's basically saying, okay, it's time to go dormant. Well, we don't want it going dormant, so we want to pick these off. So I take them off. You know, I'm not really feeling it on that geranium stem. One more needed to go. So that's what I do. I go through and I pick those off, and I'll pick all these off too, because I know like tomorrow pretty much they'll need to come off, right? So let's just deal with it right now and clean it up. And I tend to just throw them on the lawn, in the flower bed. It's mulch, it's natural matter. Sometimes I'll throw it in the bin. It depends what's available on that. I mean, these blooms disintegrate pretty fast once they're off the plant. So we're gonna do that. This is all just part of maintenance. You could do this every single day. You know, every day you could be picking stuff off of them. So you can look here. You can see any new buds that are coming. Anything that's finishing like that, we're going to take that off. And just looking at the color, that's got a day or two left. And then I go through and I do deadhead the bubblegum proven winners, even though you're not supposed to. I just find it makes the plant look nicer when they aren't. Like, that's rain damage, right? Because we've been getting a lot of rain, but they look so much better when they're cleaned up once in a while. The thing about, you don't have to do it every day. It all depends how, you know, what you like, what your preference is with the flowers. My preference is to, when I see them, come out, pick them back. I don't like to see a whole pile of them needing to be picked off. I don't mind one or two hanging there. But if I'm doing a job cleaning them, then I just go through them and do it. Same with these petunias. They are not a proven winner brand, but they do need some help. See, that's looking kind of shaggy. I'll take that now. Anything looking, you know, worn out, might as well take it, because tomorrow it'll be shot. So that's something to watch for. And you can see, you get a handful of stuff. I'm just gonna figure out where I put my pruners, because I'm gonna need, oh, they're right here. The same with this. You go through these. Excuse me, I got a cough. In my throat from supper. And I just go through and pick these out. And clean them up. And they're ready for tomorrow. This was this grass here was in the sale bin at Lowe's for $1. It was looking half dead. And you know, grasses are really resilient. So like, you put a grass in a bin that's still alive, that makes a great centerpiece on a plant. Well, it's well worth the purchase, right? Because the grasses are so resilient. They'll just bounce right back. So I went with it, and it's looking good. So, you know, sometimes I'm tempted when I buy plants in spring, because you're all excited, right, to get your new bedding plants and stuff, and it's fun to go down and find stuff you like, and there's so many pretty things. I get totally pumped about it. But it also makes sense to wait until there's a little bit of frost if you're looking to, you know, if you can be patient enough to wait, then it's worth it. You know, because then you get some really good deals. Yes, they got to bounce back. Yes, that takes time. That's all part of the process, but technically it is an option. All right, so let's show you guys something here. So this, you guys, is a, gee whiz, hydrangea, hibiscus. Boy, can't talk today. This is hibiscus. This was a damaged hibiscus that had been frozen. It's not tall, you guys. It should be a big, tall plant, but it's in here and it's alive and it bloomed. So that's the color of it. And yeah, I'm going to go with it. If it's going to live, then so be it. So I'm dealing with this one as I'm just deadheading the pansies. Pansies here are just like any other annual plant. We can use them all season. They do well because our seasons are so cold and so short in zone 3B. We can definitely keep them around all year and they look amazing. I find the white will wilt and start fading quicker than the dark purples. That's one thing I have noticed with pansies. The other thing we can do if your petunias are looking really shabby is just pick off a chunk like I just did. Pick them back a bit and give them your petunias some life. And just don't be afraid to go in and get a little harsh in your plants and open them up and have a look and see, hey, how much, stuff is going on in here. It's not looking good. Clean it out, and open up that soil a little bit to get some air in there, and it will look better. Woohoo! That was fun. Making a mess. All right, so that's how I handle pansies and petunias, even the Proven Winners brand. Let's go over here. So with the verbenas, I like to pick off anything that's dying at back, like this. Pick off any blooms that are looking damaged from rain, especially after like a rainstorm. Just pick them off low. I usually feel my way down the stem and I pick them back. See, I don't necessarily just pick the flower off. I'll take some of the stem with it. You'll see here. Now, and that works really good, and it really brightens them up. And then they reflush with blooms. Like that's a new bloom right there coming. That's damaged. Now, portulaca. Portulaca is one of my go-to flowers. It's one of my top ones in a bed. It's also easy to seed, and you can have an abundance of blooms and color, especially the ones that change to 3 different colors. But what I do with these, I like to pick off the brown little buds. This is what happens when they start dying back. They turn brown, and just pick them off, because when you pick them off, it opens it up to the new blooms to take over. So I usually go through these once in a while. I don't have a real routine for it, but after the rain, like you can see after the rain, there's a lot that needs some help. So I'll just go through and I'll pick off some of these that are spent. And if it's a real flower that's spent, I will pick off the entire flower just to make it look better. So we'll just go through and I'll try to focus on this so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm picking off the dead ones. Well, they look better already once you start picking them off. Ooh, they get all mushy though. It's from the rain. So that's kind of a downer, sticking your fingers in that, but the joys of gardening, that's what it's all about. So I'm just gonna keep picking these off. I'll pick that one down a bit. That one down a bit. And you can see it's already making it look much cleaner in here. And that is worth something. And they're really easy to pick off, right? You can just see my hand. I'm just roaming through them, doing the odd one where I'll take the whole flower and pinch it back, and then the rest that are easy to get off, and the odd petunia, I just go in and pick them off. Just like that. I'm just going to go through these over here, the verbena on this side of the pot, and pick them off. Because we're going to get some hot weather, and I want the energy to go to keep the new blooms coming. See, that one's spent. It's got one flower left on it, so I pick it off. And we'll just go around the side here, pick it off. The other thing I like to do with these rail planters and with any pots in general is give them a turn. So I usually will turn the rail planters before I water, just because they're lighter. Because they're just too heavy to turn. So you can already see a huge difference in this now. I've been picking at this for a little bit. And then I can clean up the other side too, because I want it to look good from all sides, right? But I have to go around the pot to do that. And sometimes I just, I can't reach. And I can tell you, this has been a glorious combo. So you can see this portulaca here. I'll move it a little bit so you can see it. I picked the flower off, but it will send up new shoots and it'll be fine. So yeah, so after a rain, you can always come out and deadhead, clean up your plants, and get them ready for the warm weather again. When we have stormy skies, it's a good time to clean up the next day after, if you get time, or just to perk them up and just pinch them back. Like I said, I love flowers that you don't need the deadhead, but I still deadhead. I just want them to look good. And I feel like I have a yard that I can somewhat maintain the size myself. So I'm going to try to keep up with it and do that. Plus, it's something very soothing about deadheading, I find. It's very, very relaxing. So, and just things look so perky and pretty after that it's well worth it. So that's what I'm doing here. You're just picking them off. All right, so that's how I handle my plants. The cabriolet down here, I will go through and I will pick off the stems here, get rid of because petunias and stuff in it too, pick off any dead. I sometimes will take them further back. If I start noticing a bit of crunch in there, like look at, there's some crunch in there, let's clean it out. You know, like, because energy's going to that to get to that point, so let's clean it out a bit. Yeah, you gotta be careful cleaning it out because you want to pull the entire plant out. I have done that. It's not very cool when you pull the plant out. Let me tell you, you're not going to exactly put it back at that point. Celosius. How do you deal with these when they start looking ugly? Well, you pick them off. You go and you take that head, you take your fingers in there, and you get underneath that, if you can, and you pick it off, which I'm not doing. So it's pruner time. There they are. Pruner time. And get in there, the pruners, and cut that head off. There we go. Let's see what we got going here. These were the ones I got as well for $1 that were partially frozen, and they have really perked up. Well, I got the pruners out. See, I find that really awkward to try to grab that with the pruner, you know? Because I end up getting leaves and stuff too. I suppose it makes a cleaner cut when I do that, but it's not always the easiest. So that's how you deal with that. Pick these apart, go through them, get any brown out of them. If you want, you can go hard and just snip them back as well. You can see, just get rid of some of that, give them new life. Don't they look better? Because they're going to bounce back. So it's okay to be harsh. In the end, they'll thank you. All right, let's look at this one. You are beautiful. So normally I would cut the Lycium back, but it's not ready. So just looking at this, you can see it's totally not ready yet to be cut back. So I'm just going to go through and quickly deadhead what I can in here. Oh, and the smell's amazing. This basket has been one that will really tell me when it needs water. And I find you put pansies in a basket. Oh, sorry, mosquito biting me. Oh, you put pansies in a container and they will weep. Like they'll be the first plant to tell you that they need water. So they are a really good indicator. They're almost worth putting in a container just so you know where the water levels are at for thirstier plants, because they will tell you that they're thirsty or that there's a shortage. So I also go through these. This one's not bad. It's looking really good. It's closer to the house, so it probably didn't sustain as much water damage. Sorry, rainwater damage. And we had quite a bit of wind with it. So I'll just pick out some of these pansies that are struggling in here. And some of the petunias that the colors faded on over here. There, that looks better. Oops, I missed one. So pansies are a good indicator. These orange ones in particular tell me all the time when they need something or want something. I'll pick off some of the ugly leaves too. So that's great. All right. This pot up here, I have already started cutting the Elysium back, and I'm just gonna take it down and show you. please ignore my deck. It's next on the list to get cleaned up and restained. Every year we got to restain, because every year when we shovel the snow, we shovel the stain off. Doesn't matter if I use a plastic shovel, if I use a metal shovel, and sometimes I can't broom it because it's just too heavy. Last year we got a lot of heavy snow. All right, so with this one, pruner's going here, right, is to just go through and clip it back, right? So you take your lithium, and because I tend to be more of a finger pruner, I will just go through my fingers and pick them back. And you can see the ones that need to be picked back, right? They're going to seed. And if you want to be real harsh, then you just take your pruners and go in there and just chop it all and give it a complete pruning. I tend to like to leave a little bit of the white flowers on them. It depends how bad it is. But like, you could go like this. Take these pruners and just go like, and give her, it won't be pretty when it's done. It'll make you very sad. But in a couple of weeks, you'll be like, boy, I'm glad I did that. They look so much better. And if you want to make the plant look more even, depending where you have it. If you have it situated in a pot in the middle of the yard, you might want to, go all the way around and do it. If you've only got certain areas and it's a hanging basket, then technically you can go through and disguise your pruning job, by putting the bad area that you did facing inward, right? Well, it recovers. And then the good stuff facing out. You can see I'm being really brutal here. I'm kind of pulling on it, actually. So I'm just going to actually take pruners to that. Push it back so I can catch it. And you can go through the top too. That out. That's where the hand pruning comes in really handy, is in the top part. If you have a plant that seems to be suffering or struggling, you can come in and do that too, just like this, and clean it up and give it new life. We'll just turn it around, and you can see it's one ugly plant now, but better. You can also check if there's anything going on with it too at this point, because you can see inside, right? So how much dead growth do we have going on in here? Do we need to get in here and clean some of this out of the center? There. Double check this over here. There's a bit going on down here. It also allows for the water to get in. So like when I put my finger down there now, that plant isn't as wet as I would like it to be, because that foliage is actually blocking it from getting the water. That dead foliage kind of stops it, and then it just kind of runs over. So that's another reason to go ahead and be brutal with your container plants. All right, let's do one more. Let's come over here. This one's just looking sad. So because to me it is looking completely sad, I'm gonna do something really harsh with the portulaca. I'm just gonna come through and I'm gonna pick off everything in flower. There, that's better. Stalks are spent. Down they go. Oh, they smell so pretty when you cut them too. Down. They'll send up new shoots. Sometimes I like to go a little bit further down to find the next set of leaves if I can see it, and clean it out just like that. Same with these petunias. They're looking kind of flimsy is the word I would use. So let's unflimse them. Let's go in there and get some of that out. And let's go over here again. Put my pruners down. And let's pick this back. Same with the cabriolet. This is a hard one to pronounce. Why can't they say flowering pretty plant? All right, so you can see what's going on here. Everything got a haircut. Everything got pruned back. It looks good. Picking the petunias back. There's a Solstice there that needs to be actually chopped. See, they get hidden in there sometimes. Bye-bye. It's kind of getting, it's not keeping up with the portulaca, to be honest. So, there's another one right here that's trying to keep up. And here, take that off, give it some life. There we go. A little bit of a hole in that plant for sure. Take some of this brown off. There. So that's how you do it. That's how you prune it. And let's go prune something a little bit bigger, because I'm in a pruning mood. And I know that, don't they look pretty on the lawn? A nice compliment to grass. All right, let me get down these steps. So I've showed you guys how to prune the roses, so I probably don't really need to go into that. These Chinooks, you could prune them, deadhead them every single day. They are just so amazing. And look at something's eating them. Boop, bye. So you can go through and you can prune them back hard just like that to keep them blooming. And just go around the plant and do that. Probably once a week is sufficient for those. You can see the powder puff cosmos are getting ready to open. I thought they'd be pretty with the roses. Bit of an experiment. We'll see. The ornamental cabbage is doing very well. It looks great with the purple verbena over here. And there's a few weeds that have come in here with all the rain. So clean them out. I'm not going to worry about the leaves being chewed a little bit on these. It's not going to hurt them. There's lots of leaves. I can just pick them off and clean it up. I'm going to avoid the chemicals if I can. That's just my thinking. If they get too bad, I'll just cut them back. I mean, they are a reblooming shrub, rose, so they are going to come back. So any in the colder climates, these roses, Chinook roses, are perfect for you because they're good in zones 3 and up. And as you can see, they are worth it. Okay, so that's how I deal with them. So let's go deal with some clematis. Something weird on the ground. Not sure what it was. Okay. Because I really need to do this, you guys. In fact, I think this one needs water. So you can see this one was planted last year. And I'm going to come in. I'm going to be super harsh with it. And I am going to literally take it off. Prune it back hard. You can see some of the hostas I threw in here that I split the other day. And some of them are not happy. So we're just going to sneak into this bed. I'm just going to cut those leaves back. They need some water. To talk to hubby about the sprinklers. They'll survive. Casualties of being transplant. That's all. Not a biggie. Something ate that one. Mr. Rabbit, if you hear me, stay the hell away from my plants. Okay, so we're gonna have to turn the water on for that because this is dry. The rain didn't hit this bed very well. Okay. Oh, something I just noticed. I've got 2 different kinds of lilies going on here. These just opened. The California ones, California Hotel was in my video, but I didn't know this one was with it. So, note to self, they need to be separated. All right, here's another clematis here, in with a rose that I'm gonna cut back and just set that aside. There we go. Those are easy though, the new ones. They're very easy to cut back. It's the older clematis where you have to get in there and give it a hard cut back, you see. And then you try to pick some of that stuff out, you know, without, you know, taking the whole trellis down. So this is one of those things you do. You go through stem by stem and start cutting. Right? Cut it off. Get it out of there. And just keep working your way through it. And pick it off. So this is a job that requires a couple of hands to get at this and clean it out because you got to untangle it too. So that's a fun one. All right, there's a clematis. It's all on the ground and that trellis is empty. You'd never know there was one there in the first place. So that's how you hack them down. Hack them right down to cut them right down to the ground and they will set up new shoots. And I think it makes them more prolific every year too, if you do that. I think they're fuller and more lush. So that's a tip. Anyhow, that's it for tonight for a video on some pruning and maintenance of some various plants. While I got you here, I'm just going to quickly show you how I hack down the... Normally, you need to pick these off, right? Bend this and this off of a lily. But if you don't want to take the time to bend these off, because this is going to form the seeds, you can just go into the lily like this and cut her down so that it goes to making new bulbs. There, that's all you do. That is probably the fastest way, to be honest. And it keeps them nice and clean and neat. Anyhow, this is Jacqueline from Creating My Garden. I hope you enjoyed this video about pruning and keeping things looking fresh and new. I just want to share with you the honeysuckle, how it's doing, because I planted that this year, and the gardening warm your soul. And I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day. Thanks everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.